Alright, we're live. Fantastic, guys. Welcome to another show of Let's Talk About Ice. We're here at headquarters in Queensland, and of course we're here to talk about ice. And we've got a very special guest on the couch. Notice we're wearing our Neo t-shirts. Not even once, guys. That is our message. It's not worth it. Yeah, the highway to destruction is not worth it. So not even once is our message, and I'll teach you how to do that in sign language a little bit later, Jose. But guys, I want you to welcome on the show tonight a really special guest. I've spent the last couple of hours with him and hearing a little bit of his testimony and his journey into hell. Ice world, which we refer to as hell, and he's here to share some of that journey with you tonight. You can get a better understanding of what happens with somebody that walks down that path, and what happens in here and what happens in here, and the devastation that this drug can cause on somebody's life. So we're really blessed to have you here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show, and like we always say, it's in the name of education, and nobody likes to sit here on this side of the camera and share their dirty laundry, so to speak, or paths they've taken that you don't want to put out there on a magazine, but you do in hope that we can give something back to community. So it's a great honour to have you here, and I recognise, and we recognise that it's a big step. You already work in the industry, so you're a little bit acquainted with sharing your story to help others.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I guess at the moment, I know you've worked in an amazing rehab that you went through yourself. And maybe we'll start a little bit there, and then we'll backtrack and find out a little how everything started for you.
I work for a Dell training farm, which is a separate to the Dell rehab.
Yep.
And I went through the Dell House program, and they had two stages at that point. We did 3 months at what they call a stage 1, and that's Dell rehab. And the second stage, you work at a farm.
Wow.
And that farm is where the Dell training farm is located. And when I finished the program, I did a bit of volunteer work, and then a little, not long after that, I was offered a job as a general farmhand, and
Wow.
that was sort of a job that fits in a life, a recovering addict.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
A lot of one of my problems as an ex-addict too is like, you've got big ego, and
You're stubborn.
That's right, and able to follow directions, and at the farm, there is no time for ego when you're weeding, and there's no time for ego when you're digging holes, and
Yeah.
So it's the kind of job that is perfect for someone in recovery.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and I know that we've met with the people at a Dow House in the program. They're an incredible family there for people who really truly want recovery. They're doing an incredible job. So if that's you and you're watching this tonight and you're considering or contemplating changing your life, and the way to do that is to connect. Firstly, you can connect with us if you like, message us. We can connect you with your local rehab, and a Dow House is one of those that we really honour and we respect, and we know the work that they do in there is amazing, and they really transform lives. So if we're speaking to you tonight and you are that person and you're thinking, okay, I want to find out a little bit more, please Google it or send us a message. We'll send you some info about it, and you can have a chat with the guys there at the Dow House and see if that's for you. Yeah, but unless you do something different, you're going to remain in the same cycle of devastation, of being lost, of your life being stripped from a life that you could potentially have, and a life that you love. So which Jose is living testimony to living that as well now, and he's coming on board AAIC. We're blessed to have him in Coffs Harbour to get a community ice action team together there and provide not only education into the schools, but create a platform where people that are in recovery can help other people that are in the early stages of recovery and other families. So we're really, really blessed to have you come on board with us.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
So I want to hear a little bit about your story and your background. You know, we touched a little bit on some of the parts of your story. But Jose, I want to kind of go back to, where did it all start for you? Like, somebody just doesn't wake up in the morning and decide, okay, I think I'm going to become a drug addict today. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my career and my life. You know, it doesn't work like that. How?
And I tried it once, and it didn't take long. Within 2 weeks, I started following a dealer.
Wow.
And it escalated. It was progressive. It went very quick until, you know, it was at least maybe $1,000 a week habit, and you can't sustain that. So then I started doing crime to support that habit, and within a very short space of time, within 2 years, I find myself doing full-time custodial sentence for crime.
Wow. So what, did you not use other drugs before ice? Was it just straight into ice?
Just straight into ice. I have not used any other drugs.
I don't meet many people like that. I'm the same. You know, I didn't have any other substance that I was really using. Didn't really do drugs, and that was my first comment. You know, I don't do drugs, but you just jumped straight into ice world.
Into an ice world. It was just that one innocent-looking pipe.
Yeah.
You know, with a couple of harmless little crystals in it.
Yep.
And that made me feel like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, and ever since then, throughout my 13 years of addiction, I was chasing that.
Yep.
And it was never replicated ever again.
It's incredible. And that you noticed within 2 weeks that you were chasing that, you were following the dealer around. You know, and this is what we're talking about, guys. You know, that first hit, you know, not even once. It's not worth it, because it turns your life into hell. And, you know, we were talking before how blessed we are to be all together. You know, not unscarred, but all together and alive, because it's a very small percentage of people that come out the other side unscarred. And we're actually doing something with that. We're actually going back into community to help others come out of that space and to warn our youth and our next generation about the devastation of what we've had to see and undergo. And, you know, a lot of people might say, oh, well, that was really stupid, wasn't it? What were you thinking? What were you thinking when somebody offered you a pipe?
Well, that's exactly right. I thought, you know, how bad can it get?
Yeah.
How bad can this thing be?
Yeah.
You know, and the guy actually said to me, look, this thing, you know, it's amazing. It is. How did he put it? It was like, it's a drug for professionals. It's the stuff that makes you be creative.
Oh my!
It's the stuff that makes you very good at what you do. You know, and you know, I tell you what, there's only one thing I can guarantee in my addiction, and that my addiction will always only lead me to one place, and that's prison.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's the only thing I can guarantee.
So how long did that journey escalate before you turned up at prison? What happened?
The first, I started. I cannot support my habit, so I had to start doing crime, and there's a lot of dishonesty.
Yes.
But before that, we're talking about the family front as well. You know, when you first start using, you isolate yourself.
Yep.
You isolate yourself from your family because you don't want them to know that you're using. And then what comes with that is you start stealing from your family.
Yep.
And it comes a time when you don't need to isolate anymore because you just don't get invited anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the way it is. And then eventually you're not wanted anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So within 2 years I find myself in prison, and then I'm part of that prison revolving door. You go in. You don't really get to detox in prison because there's a lot of ice in prison.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that. We've had one of the guys go through rehab, and then before you start working with AARC, one of the criteria is that you have to face any charges that you may have pending. You need to clear your past, you know, and so he had to go to court, and some of his history had to be looked at, and he got sent to jail. And within the 24 hours, I got contacted by his grandmother saying, within 10 minutes he was offered ice. Is he going to be strong enough to stand against that? And, you know, The answer is no. You know, you 1 year clean. It takes 12 to 18 months for your brain to stabilise and start processing normally again, for your chemical balance to start operating normal again. 12 months just doesn't cut it. You know, and faced with that in your face every day, and you know your life's just been taken from you. The first place you're going to want to run is to ice world, to mask everything and run away from it.
I always say that desires always trump good intentions.
That's right, exactly.
Desires always trump good intentions.
Yeah.
You know, and in my case, I always find anyway that it goes back to that loving God who's helping me do what I'm willing to do myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So there needs to be that willingness that I want to do myself.
Yep.
But it's hard when you're in a prison environment. I've done 7 years, maybe roughly, prison in the last 13 years of my life.
Is that in and out, in and out?
In and out, in and out, in and out.
Wow.
You know, and the last stint I had, I was doing an 18-month stint, and every single day there was ice in prison, and to the point when I got out, I only lasted 2 weeks.
Wow. Why? Jose, why does this happen? Like, if you get clean for a period of time, what happens in here? I want to know what's going on inside you, please, so that the people at home can understand what happens in here and why people keep relapsing so much. You know, this is...
I don't know about a relapse, because I never really, in my journey, I wasn't one of those people that wanted to get clean. Getting clean was the furthest in my head.
Yeah.
Rehab did not fit. Why? Because I did not have a drug problem.
Yes. Yeah.
What I had was a police problem.
Okay. Yeah.
If the police didn't interfere in my life that much, you know, my using was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's that mentality
That's
of an addict.
Yep. I don't have a problem. It's not like I'm shooting up or you know, popping pills or anything. It's just a bit of smoke, man. Like, it's not a problem.
Right.
I've got it under control. Is that the kind of attitude?
So when I got out, 2 weeks later, I was arrested. And I said, oh, well, that's all right, I'm going back to the prison where I got out from, and there's drugs there. But something different happened this time. And there was what I can see now as a divine providence working. Usually I go, don't get bail, go back to prison. But something different happened. I was offered an option of going to drug court.
Right.
In New South Wales drug court. It was Parramatta, to be specific. And I got bail, and I said, beauty, because now I can get back out to community. And the judge this time, his name's Judge Doug, he said, Mr. Portia, you are a menace.
Wow.
I'm not sending you back to the community, I'm sending you to rehab and in Coffs Harbour, and this is Adele House.
Wow.
And still in my head, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm not a drug addict, but I'm going to go anyway, go through the motions, because I want to then just run away. And then the divine providence came in when I saw my life as it really was, not that illusion in my head, you know. I was always homeless, but my head, no, I wasn't, you know.
Yes, I'm just working it out.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, I got released from prison, I had 20 cents in my back pocket, and I was given donated clothes. You know, I was travelling in a black garbage bag, but the donated clothes went in, and I was dropped off at Sydney Airport to fly. This is the irony of it. How many, you know, ex-convicts you get out of prison to jump on a plane, virgin, to go to Coffs Harbour.
Oh goodness! And how did you get, like, who did the prison give you the ticket to go?
No, it was Adele House that paid for it through drug court.
Wow!
And I was walking through. I had pants that was 3 sizes too big. I had shoes 3 sizes too big, and I'm walking through Sydney Airport, and then when I hit the terminal and I see the fellow travellers, that's the reality hit me. I'm looking at everyone travelling. They had their luggage, they're smiling, and they had destination in mind. And then I looked down, and all I had in this world was this black garbage bag, contents of which didn't even belong to me.
Wow.
And then that's when I realised that maybe, just maybe, I have a problem.
Wow.
And, you know, and I said to myself, you know, I'll have to give this program a go. And if it doesn't work, I'm only wasting 3 to 6 months of my life.
Yep.
And I've already wasted 13 years of my life.
Let me just get something straight, right? You've been walking this journey for 7 years, in and out of prison, homeless, you know, getting involved in crime, getting locked up again, and you still didn't recognise you had a problem. Okay. you're hearing that, guys? If you're a family member and you have a loved one in addiction, I want you to hear this, okay? Because Jose's a perfect example that you don't give up hope. Okay, you don't give up hope on your loved one, because there does come a time that something will drop. And you want to be prepared to be able, with the resources, to help your loved one. And you need to have a detox, a rehab. You need to have a plan, okay? You need to take down our phone number, because we can provide them with a buddy that can stand with them, walk with them, somebody that's been through what they've been through, and we're prepared to help them to move to the next stage, which is early recovery, okay? So the way that our buddies work is that we help that person connect with the resources they need, the detox and then the rehab, and we wait for them when they come out. We visit them at times. I've detoxed people on my couch. We do whatever it takes, to get them to that next stage while they can't think for themselves. So I just want you to hear this, because that's a long time, in and out of prison, homeless, all crime, back into prison, and he still didn't recognise he had a problem. So I speak to a lot of people, families out there, but my son, he doesn't think he has a problem. My father doesn't think he has a problem. Don't give up hope, okay? And I want you to prepare yourself, arm yourself with the tools you need, because there will come a time in their cycle of addiction that you will have an opportunity to step in. Now, there's some really important training that we do on our website. If you'd like to have a look at that, it's at www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. It's called SAMI Brief, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Intervention. And what that does is an online training that you can do over 2 hours, and that'll teach you some skills on, firstly, you look at the cycle of addiction, you look at contemplation stage, you look at a cost versus the benefits conversation that you can have with your loved one, okay, and what a tripod system of support looks like. And you can connect with us through that online platform, and we can work with you to work with your loved one to help them into a place of recovery. So that training there is really important, because sometimes people are trying to get to help their loved one into, but he won't go to rehab. They're not at that point. You need to recognise the stages of change. You need to recognise the contemplation stage, and you need to be prepared. You can't force somebody to want recovery. They have to recognise it for themselves. But there does come a time when that happens, and I want you to be prepared. Is that okay?
I need to reiterate too. I arrived at rehab with 20 cents. I did not have any money. So recovery, we are blessed in this country, because we can do recovery in the government. I've been in countries where there are no facilities for
That's right.
for addicts.
Yeah.
So we are blessed.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of rehabs are full, and you have to go on a waiting list and so forth. If you connect with us, we're happy to see where we can fit you in. We've flown people from WA to Melbourne to get into rehab. If you're serious, you can get in somewhere. Okay, so that's, we can't use that excuse, there are means here in Australia. Connect with your local church, with your local Rotary, with, people in your community, if we need to get a ticket for somebody to fly from here to get into rehab and change their life forever. But you've got to be serious, So you're absolutely right. We're blessed in this country to have the opportunity to have recovery, a lot of countries don't have that opportunity. So and we've just got to keep in mind that ice itself is different to any other drug. The time for recovery is longer, much longer, and you find this working with people in recovery. We were talking about that before, but it does work. You can get through it. We're living testimony of that. So you're at the airport. You've looked down at your bag. Plastic bag, and that your life's belonging was somebody else's clothes.
Someone else donated clothes, And one of the gifts I have in recovery is I've been able to travel overseas, and I've been to third world countries where airports are made of shack, and I can guarantee you no one travels with a garbage bag.
Yeah, wow.
I have, So I thought no, and And actually, one of the things I did was to buy a nice luggage of it, to travel.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
of gets a recovery.
That's awesome.
But when I talked about families before, how they just didn't want me. Just because I was in rehab close to almost 12 months. I did not speak to my family until I actually got out of the rehab.
Wow.
And it was probably about 5 months after.
Wow.
Because in addiction, I've run out of excuses.
Yeah, you had to prove it.
I had to prove first, and I had to then reach out and say, look, this is what's happening.
Wow.
I'm part of it is, I remember my mum saying, I said, oh, Mum, I said to myself, if I rang my mum when I was in rehab and said, Mum, guess what, I'm in rehab, and don't worry, they've got this program, it's based on 12 steps, my mum would probably say, mate, you need more than 12 steps.
Well, after 7 years, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
That's right, but no, it does work.
So Mum gave up hope.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I guess, when you're involved in crime and you're taken over, your frontal lobe's taken over by ICE, you'll do whatever it takes to get the next hit, even if it is stealing from your family.
Absolutely.
So you end up really hurting people that you love with and not recognising it at the time. Is that how it was for you?
Absolutely.
What were you thinking, when your family, cut you off? What were you thinking?
When they stopped visiting me in prison, and I don't get, and I said, it turns to a resentment.
Yes.
It turns to resentment. But at a time, well, I don't need them,
Yep.
And they're better off.
Yep.
Better off. You don't really think much about that at the time.
No, because you're not thinking.
Yeah, it's only in sobriety that you reflect.
That's right, because your frontal lobe's not working. So it's like, what are they thinking? How could they do that to me? I hear families and I go, but they're not. They're not actually able to process logic, rational decisions. The frontal lobe's not working. They're operating on the animal brain, which is the midbrain, animal instinct. They just care about the next 5 minutes of pleasure and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. And they can't see, you can't see, that the damage that you're doing around you and to your life. And tell me about the damage that you were doing to your life. What did it cost you?
Well, it cost me relationships, it cost me freedom.
Yeah.
And it cost me, didn't have any morals,
Yeah.
Many times I actually lived in apartments, but you don't think about when it happens, you only remember the good times.
Yeah.
And using the times you were in the hotels, the times you were in a service apartment because you've done a lot.
Yep.
But you forget about the times when you were scraping the carpet or the toilet,
Yep. Yep.
You only think, oh yeah, it was, you glorified the using.
Yeah, that's right.
Glorified the using. And and more importantly today, I have a sense of purpose in my life that didn't exist before.
It's amazing.
Today, my family is a very big part of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, my family is a very big part of my life. I get to do something, actually on the 15th of June, I get to do a family reunion overseas.
Wow.
Traveling with my mother.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I actually today I actually have money to help my mom go overseas.
That's fantastic.
Wow. I have nieces and that will ring me up to ask my help for your assignment.
Isn't that beautiful?
And I have a nephew who I never met, who lives in San Francisco. And we play chess online. I'm going to meet him for the first time next month.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow. So you've been able to steal your life back.
Yes.
From the enemy, huh?
Yes.
Tell me something, Jose, how old were you when you first used ice?
33.
So it doesn't discriminate?
No. That's the first time I used drugs. I was 33 years of age.
Yeah. And, it's not like... What was your family like before that, like when you first decided? What was your family upbringing like?
We're migrants. We came from the Philippines, and I was the eldest. My dad died when I was in the Philippines. I did my HSC here, and I actually got a cadetship to Reserve Bank after year 12, and I did my studies at night time while working at the Reserve Bank. I helped, my mom with my siblings, you know. So it wasn't like a bad upbringing. It was actually, it's a typical migrant family, you know. And I had a career in banking and finance.
Wow.
And from 89 to 2003.
Wow.
And it's almost the same period of that sanity, followed by a number of years of insanity.
That's incredible. So, guys, you know, I really want you to get this, that you are going through... You come from a normal life, normal background. You know, this could happen to anyone. You know, you had siblings and mum and working and studying, and you know, it's not like you know, his background was you know, he had trouble, he had you know, stuff going on that would, you know, generally people think, oh, that's why they got into drugs, because you know, they had a bad family, they had a bad upbringing, they had, you know, dad got bashed, the mum bashed the kids all the time. It's not like that. Absolutely normal family like yours, you know, and I'm the same. I have a similar story to you. I have a beautiful family, and you know, morals, and you know, we were taught, you know, in a very loving environment, and had no reason to pick up, you know, and you go from having, well, I don't know what being normal is, but having what is acceptable as a normal life to going to a world that you don't even know. Tell me about that world a little bit more. I know you got into crime and stuff. What was going on for you as you started to move away from family, siblings? I know you're going in and out of prison, but what was going on in here? I want to hear about.
You have that sense of isolation because, in my case, you lost that sense of identity. You know, you belonged to a family. You had friends that were normal. Yeah. They didn't use drugs, and then suddenly you start using drugs, and you get in trouble, and then they abandon you. Right? So you need to then rebuild your sense of identity. You know, well, where am I going to cling to? Because as human beings, you know, you don't want to be alone.
Yep. You're not created like that, are you, Jose?
So you need to find people with the same values as you.
Yep.
So I got involved with not just doing crime, but people who do crime, and you know, I found myself in a lot of you know, dangerous and situations.
Yep. Yep.
But you think that you know, you're 6 foot tall and bulletproof, and you know, so prone to also grandiosity.
Yeah.
You know,
have a false sense.
False sense of confidence, and you think you're something else.
Yeah.
But
Did your family or friends or people around you try and tell you? Do they try and warn you about what
no,
they saw?
because
Were they scared of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, there was even a time when my mum's house got raided because the police didn't know where I was, and they rang her up. And that was that. That was the last time. For a very long time, I didn't contact my mum anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
You were ashamed?
I was ashamed.
Yeah.
I was ashamed.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know. We find that a lot of people that have been isolated from their family, and they're quite happy to leave that over there because they don't want to have to face that. And you know, when it comes to that place where they really need help, they've got no one to turn to. And if I'm talking to you tonight, and somebody sent you this link, if you are that person and you feel that you can't reach out to your family or your friends, and that maybe you might need some help, I want you to know that we're here to help you. Okay, we've been there, and like Jose's saying, he didn't have anywhere to turn. He was fortunate enough that the judge saw something, a way that he could diverse in a jailhouse, saw a way, something in him that they could reach out to help him. He was just really, really lucky. But tonight, if we're talking to you, I just want you to know that we're here to help you create that pathway into recovery. Okay, we've been there. We know that you're hurting. We know what it's like to be in that world and feel lost, and at the end of your rope. but you're not alone. You know, we are here to help. There's a whole group of us that have come out of that world, and we're meant to walk with you. So please don't be afraid to reach out and send us a message and say, look, I need some help. I'm ready to make that change, and we'll get that journey started for you. So it's a really transforming lives, your life, when you have people around you that know the truth, you know, and life transforming is the word I'm looking for. So you stepped into a DAO and you went, right, okay, I'll give this a bash, I'll go in there for, how long was it? 3 months?
I did 3 months in the stage 1 program. I did another 3 months in the stage 2 program working at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I might stay in COFS, and then they told me, well, if you want to stay in COFS, don't want to go back this year, then we want you to stay another 3 months in the farm, which is actually another 4 months. Yep. So in total, I did 10 months in adult,
yep,
plus another 12 months outreach.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow, yep.
So,
and you need that, hey?
Yeah,
Tell me about what you think, like, we were talking before about, you know, short-term rehab, you know, 3 or 6 months rehab and for ICE. Tell me about what you covered in the first 3 months.
I don't know about short-term rehabs. I really don't have any. I can say with short-term rehabs, I'll think about the guys who come to program at their house, and in 3 months they think they're cured and they go home. It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
No.
They go back and pick up, because I always say desires always trump good intentions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When you go back to the community and you go back to the same people, when you walk out of rehab after 3 months and you have your mobile phone with you, the contacts you have on your mobile phone are the same people that you had 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to call?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And we're talking at like 12 months minimum gives you a basis to, you know, scrap the past and start again.
That's right.
You know, it really does, and rewire the melon, as George puts it.
I like that, rewiring the melon bit, because although I believe I had good values before addiction, you know, and I lost that throughout addiction.
Yeah. And
the living skills I've lost. And I went to a program where it was about living skills, and more importantly, it was a program about designed for people who don't follow good orderly direction. You know?
Yeah.
So I needed to unlearn 13 years of bad addiction, behavior throughout addiction, and I had to really learn new habits.
Yep.
Right? And that included not going inside the house with a hat on. It included not wearing thongs when you go to group. You know, it's about raking every day. It's about making up the bed as soon as you wake up. You know, and that was that.
Yep.
When I was able to do that really well, you know, I started to form new habits.
Yes.
And what that meant, when I went to the community, when they told me these are the things I have to do, I needed to do 90 meetings in 90 days. I have to attend meetings. I need to get a sponsor, do this step. I was a person who can do those things.
Yes.
There was no longer a defiance.
Yes, that's right. That's very
no longer defiance.
Yeah, a rebellion.
That's right.
Yeah.
In the rehab, the Salvation Army was a very big presence.
They do an amazing job. Yeah.
They come every Tuesday, and we had a Bible study, and I didn't believe. And then somewhere during that journey, Jesus entered my life. And the Salvation Army is a very big part of my life today.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very big part. I am with the COFS Corps, COFS Harbour Corps, and I'm a soldier, and occasionally they ask me to deliver the message.
Fantastic.
So I'm saying, oh, what do they want to know? I'm an ex-addict, an ex-con, you know.
But you're not. You've been renewed.
That's exactly right.
And, you know,
that's exactly right.
You've got a platform to start again, you know. No one can change the past, okay? And we're not saying that what people do in addiction is okay. We're not saying that. We're saying you've got an opportunity to turn that around and to change your life and be who you want to be. And with a bit of help, you know, from scriptures, from churches, from, you know, Salvation Army, rehabs that, you know, can help you reset your values, reset, the standards, to remind you who you are, that you are wonderfully and perfectly created,
Yes.
even with your faults and dents.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all perfectly and wonderfully created. I actually was speaking to a girlfriend yesterday, I think it was. You're perfectly imperfect. We're all perfectly imperfect. And that's, the beauty of it, we can just do the best we can do today and grow on that, yeah? And, sometimes people that start their journey in recovery think, oh, but I'm not you. You don't know where I've been. Yeah, I do. Yeah, he does.
I do.
You're
not that special.
Yeah, that's right. You can turn that around.
You might be unique, but you're not special.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
All addicts travel the same road.
Yeah. But you can live a life worth living, and a life that you love, and a life of purpose, instead of running and chasing a substance that's destroying you and every part of, the people and the life around you that you've been gifted. So, so when did you recognise that rehab started working for you?
I didn't believe, I didn't have proof that it was going to work. All I had was
the court order.
I had a court order. Definitely had a court order. I couldn't leave that program, but I could have left.
Yes.
But I suffered the consequences, right?
Yes.
Going back to prison. What I had was a faith, right?
Wow.
What I had was the beginnings of faith,
Yes.
right? And that gave me hope that maybe this will work. And then, of course, you go through the stages when you go to rehab, especially when I was about to leave the program. I said, great, so I'm sober and I'm broke.
Wow.
So what am I going to do? So I have to go close off all my old friends,
Yes.
all the associations. I have to have new associations. But one thing I had was, at that point in time when I left, was a faith in God.
Wow.
I just want to quickly go back to this thing that you said about people's behaviours too. There are things in some people say to me, you don't know what I've done. I said, look, trust me, mate, I probably have.
Mm.
And the thing is, in addiction, we do things that we will never do
Yep. sober. That's right. Exactly.
And today, I have a loving God. I like that quote you have there, Ephesians 6:11.
Mm.
I have this Major Andrew, the Salvation Army quote, if you see, you can be happy. It says, put on full armour of the Lord, that you may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil.
Amen.
And that's exactly what helps me today.
Wow.
That's exactly what helped me today. When I first got out of rehab, my old association tried to call me, and they tried to get me back.
Yep.
And I was going out with good people that started using or started drinking.
Yes.
And I know I just can't be part of it.
Yep.
Just can't be part of it.
No, you can't. And that it really is a split second that your life, you got topple over, as they put it, and and it's very, very quick.
Yes.
It's not worth risking. It's not worth putting yourself at risk, putting yourself in the situation. Places, how does it go? People, places, and things.
Yes.
So, you've got to be really aware of what situation you're placing yourself in.
Yes.
And I think I was talking to you before about how when I first, went to a club, and I used to love music and dancing, and I was in recovery, and I just, around 1 year I was invited to this great party, and I was so excited to go, but then I got there, and then I was like a fish out of water. It felt like my arms were so long, and I couldn't, I didn't fit in anymore. Like, everyone was doing drugs, and they're getting drunk, and I knew if I got drunk, I would probably use drugs, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. So I was just totally out of the scene, and I recognised, okay, well, that's just not me anymore. Well, who am I? And then I had to go on that journey about who I was now, and so it's a whole new recreating, the person you're going to be, isn't it? How did that journey go for you
Today.
Who did you create?
I
I see an amazing man before me here doing some incredible work in Coffs Harbour.
Today, I have an opportunity to be able to follow that Salvation Army mission, which is basically says along the lines that wherever there is hardship and injustice, I will be there to live, love and fight alongside others, transforming Australia one life at a time with the love of Jesus. And that's basically what I just try to do. In addition to ice is a very, very big hardship.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes in so quick.
Yeah.
And it comes in like a lie. That's right. And it's this deception at its best, and people don't see it, as a big deal, and they don't realise how quickly it does become a big deal. And I was talking at a Lions Club the other day, and it was that we were talking about, we know that there's a big problem out there and our youth are at risk, and I asked them a question, and I'm going to pose that to you tonight. Do you know what ice looks like? Do you know the different names that it's called? There's probably about 20 or 30 different names. Do you know that it comes in different colours? Do you know that you can put it in water? That you can lace marijuana with it? That you can cut ecstasy and party pills with it? Do you know that there's Drano in ice? And acetone? I didn't know a lot of these things, when a pipe was handed to me. And you probably do the same, right?
No.
And a lot of us don't. Some people that come in after recovery and they come in to work with us and they go, I had no idea what was in it and what it was actually doing inside of me until I saw your program. And that's what we're here to do, guys. We're here to, to raise awareness and educate and help people in addiction and create a pathway into recovery. But I am aware, Jose, that you run a group of people that you run or help facilitate a group of people.
It's like a Bible study group.
Yeah, awesome.
It's at a rehab.
Fantastic.
And actually on Tuesday nights. It's through the Salvation Army. And last Tuesday night, two of the residents actually run the group.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's this guy Andrew and Marshall. They're good boys, and they were a bit cautious at first, and they thought that he'll run the court because he's away. And then I turn up, and then they started. What?
And they got nervous.
I said, mate, just pretend we're not here,
Yeah.
And they've done very well.
That's awesome. So we have some questions?
We have a very deep question. Is that okay?
Fantastic. Can you...
This is from Valerie. She asks, or says, my loved one tends to have cycles. She could stay clean for a small period, but still hangs out with the same people. When I explain to her hanging out with these people is wrong and she should isolate herself from them, she laughs at me and says it wouldn't matter. I don't understand what she is thinking. Can you please explain to me the thought process behind this?
Well, it's the people that you're with. Obviously, when it comes to change, I always believe that we guard a gate, and it's locked from the inside.
Yeah.
Right. And if a person still don't want to change and want to continue using, it doesn't really matter if you're in a group of people. A lot of times in my using, I use alone.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely, I hear that.
So that's probably what she means. There are a lot of times in my using where I lock myself in a room or in the toilet in front of a mirror, blowing smoke to myself.
Yep.
Until such time that there was someone who had better stuff than me, maybe they were invited.
That's right. I so relate to that, and that is absolutely true. And Valerie, what I believe your daughter means is that it wouldn't make a difference whether the people were there or not. She's still going to use. So, that's proof in the pudding that she's not actually ready for change. She might, try and stay clean for a little bit, but then there's something else going on for her while she's picking up again. My recommendation to you, Valerie, is to do the SAMI brief online. really understand the cycle of addiction and the cost versus benefits conversation that you need to have with her, because she needs to see it in black and white. This is what it's costing you, my daughter, and this is, you know, the benefits of coming off, and what you can have, you know, your life back. Maybe she just needs to connect while she's clean. She needs to connect with the resources that we can help her with, you know, a drug and alcohol counsellor. Then you need to be on a tripod system of support. It's highly unlikely that you're going to do this on your own. Okay, the percentage of I don't know anybody that's done it alone. It's people go, oh, but he said he's clean now and he's just miraculously stopped. That's a lie. Okay, it's not going to happen. You need to at least put a tripod system of support around her. She needs to want that to begin with, and that looks like having a buddy, somebody to walk with them and make them accountable, and you know, say, hey, how you going today? You don't want to die today, die tomorrow. Today we're going to go to an NA meeting. Today we're going to go to do some music down the road. Today we're going to go and help somebody that's living on the street. Let's get your life on track, hey? Let's get your counsellor, okay, a drug and alcohol counsellor. Let's, you know, get you off the streets if you're living on the streets. Get you some food if you're hungry. Okay, so it's doing the practical things, and maybe she needs to connect with you know, people that are in recovery. You know,
like-minded people
yeah.
who wants to change.
Yep, yep. Who have changed, that she can go, oh, that life looks better than the one that I'm, you know, continuing to destroy. So there's a few ideas for you. Please, I encourage you to connect with us, Valerie. We do have a very strong family support unit here. The number that you can contact is 0481 844 555. Or of course you can send us a private message. Or you can call us on 1-800 no to ICE, NOTOICE, 1-800 no to ICE, and we can connect you with your family support in your area, and we can have a chat with you about some resources and how you can, you know, help your daughter, you know, through that stage of being clean and staying clean. Yeah, if that's what she wants to do.
It is hard work. I may be the only one sitting here talking to you, but there are a number of boys that come through a DEL program that are clean today.
Yep.
There are many. I am not going to lie. There are many who just could not give up.
Yep.
Right, and the ones who have given up the drugs have a better life. The people who get to kick the habit, you know what they get to become today? They get to become mothers and fathers. They get to front up in the family law court and get the children back.
Yeah.
The ones who are successful at this get to go back to the university.
Yeah.
I have this friend named Ben, you know. He's from Adele. He's coming up to Brisbane to fight as a kickboxer, for example.
Wow.
You know, and
wow.
he's only a young kid.
Wow. Travelling all over the place, and you're flying all over the place, and running groups and Bible study and helping people, and it's a life worth living, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you know, you don't see that while you're in addiction. You don't see that while you're stuck in that world, because it's like you're in a different realm, and the whole world goes away, and you're just stuck in this vortex of chasing, you know, and doing whatever it takes to get that next hit, and that. Did you suffer much psychosis?
Oh yeah, it's more of the brought on by the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that, I would never would have referred to in the past as blackouts, but you lose time.
Yes.
A concept of time.
There's no time.
You know, there is no time. You know, I shared with you an example where suddenly I find myself at the police station because I thought I was reporting, you know, and no, it was actually supposed to be days ago.
Wow.
And before I knew it, I had the police officers behind me because, oh, you've just been breached, you know.
Yep.
Because you never turn up, and I'm looking at my time and I said, I could have sworn this is the present, you know.
Yeah. You lose time. There is no time in Ice World. There's no responsibility. The whole world kind of goes, and it's not until you're in that moment you go, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. You know, your frontal lobe doesn't work. So if there's a message here tonight that you really want our audience to get, what would that be?
Simple. That there is a cure to this disease, right? And that there is a softer, easier way, right? And you just got to let go of that, and there is a much better life.
Yeah, amen.
Right.
Amen. That's awesome. Jose, thank you for sharing tonight. We're going to have to wrap.
Thank you.
But I do encourage you to keep tabs online, and if you have any questions out there, please ask them. We do stay online for some time, and our care team are also online, and we'll tag you in online so that you can answer any questions that people might have. If you are in Coffs Harbour, doing a call out for you, Jose will be leading up a CEAT, a community eye action team there in your area very shortly. He's working with us to do that. If you are in Coffs Harbour and you want to be part of the change, be part of this campaign, be part of the education, be part of rolling awareness out in your community, if you are somebody that has recovered from ice addiction, you are somebody in the community that's concerned about ice in your community, and you have a skill set that you can offer, a bit of time, whatever it is, please connect. Okay, your community matter. The kids in your community are tomorrow's adults, and they're tomorrow's generation, and we're there. We're going to be rolling out education, we're going to be rolling out a community forum, we're going to be doing a walk against ice, we're going to be providing tools for the community to be able to have some training and skill set with dual diagnosis training, and also SAMI brief. So if you are interested in becoming involved, please connect with us, let us know. There's a little button on our website and it says volunteer with us. Fill in the details and let us know that you're from Coffs Harbour, and we'll connect you with the team there as soon as they have their volunteer meeting down there, and do the induction and get everybody on board on the same page to help the community. So if you're from Coffs, please connect with us, okay? So we're doing a call out. Before we go, I've got to teach you something. I told you I was going to teach you some sign language. You ready?
Yeah.
It's a good sign language too, okay? Our message to you guys is not even once. Guys, good night. Be safe. And not even once is our message to you tonight. God bless you.
you.
Good night.
Bye.